games now. Of course there's an update. Of course there's an update. Who cares though? We'll just continue our career. What were we doing? Clean the detached house, clean the golf cart. Clean the house. It's so, oh, that's right, this game doesn't have music. It's so awkward, and we don't have the Twitch soundtrack anymore. But hold on, I think I can find something. Oh, yeah. Okay, sweet. Well, what does it say here? Cast on the table, we live at the old house of the Atar. The centric actors who played the Wicked Witch in that classic movie Vanished from Sealing National Park. A witch? Not in this game, too. You know, the rumors surrounding the place, we also know we picked up the absolute bargain. We don't mind if the furniture moves around a little. That's just like devil feng shui. The group exterior is really getting to us, but all the other power washers in town are too scared to get their foot in the yard. If you could help us, we'll be eternally grateful. Who's Slipknot while power washing? Man, that would feel so strange. That would feel so odd, saying to Slipknot while casually power washing. Wait, what's this? Yeah. Select nozzle. Select soap. I don't have soap, do I? This. Okay. What do we have again here? How does this game work? Yeah, I think this is the normal one you have. And then we bought this one last time, I think. Mine is a super weird, creepy sign on the outside of the house. Nothing to worry about. What sign? Oh. That sign? Why did you guys research that written in... Oh yeah, the ancient language of the angels. Looks like a really strange smiley. Oh, but yeah, it's this thing I bought last time. We bought the long barrel as well, right? Now, what was the quick... one? Quickly switch to awesome. Relearning the power wash sim controls. Let's put on some music, shall we? We used to listen to this the synth wave playlist on the Twitch soundtrack, but yeah, well, since that's no longer a thing, you have to find an alternative, and let's see if this is good enough. Like, you all probably know about that lo-fi music, right? Well, there is an alternative, or like another version of that, which is the synth wave version. So we'll try that. Let's see. Where is Mr. Bandman? He's live himself. Oh god, why is it so loud? There you go. That's a pretty good volume, right? I think. Not too loud, not too quiet. Time to power wash. But I mean, if you're asking where the Gov is, if he's AFK right now, he's probably eating. I heard him say that he was going to eat, so that's probably what he's doing right now. Me and the Gov have really good voices, so thank you. Appreciate it, Amethyst. Got those radio talk show host voices. You had to say Mr. Bandman. How do you know about that? Is it because of the Discord role or something? 'Cause, man, that used to be his old nickname. Oh, that's how you know. I see. Yeah, 'cause, like, that used to be his old nickname and everything. Yeah, well, he told you the story. Yeah, you already know the whole reason behind it. Because he got banned. Ready to install. Thank you, but I'm already playing. I'm already power washing. What happened to the music? It got so quiet. I think it is just quiet, this one. Acting sus. He was really sus in the beginning. Nowadays he just likes breaking games. And he does it quite often. Oh wow, that's almost fast as I was thinking. Oh, let me turn this up. This one's quiet. Man, today, yeah, like even today when he started his stream, 5 minutes into the game and he already broke it. 5 minutes into playing LA Noire and he already broke it in today's stream. Oh, he speeds run them. Hey, like I've been saying, he would make for a great speedrunner. With him finding all these glitches. How is that not clean? There you go. And how does this even happen? How does your house get this fucked up and dirty? What are you doing? How does this happen when everything else is crystal clear? Abandoned it? I mean, they did say that this place is like somewhat haunted. Some type of witch used to be here or something. Which also why there is this witch mark. But somebody moved in. But I guess it was abandoned before they moved in, and then yeah, that's how this happened. Buy it, live in it happily. Me too. Especially if it's haunted. That's just a bonus. I don't know if I want to get rid of the doggo paws. Yeah, they're gonna go away by itself. If I clean it enough. It's a free roommate. Exactly, it's a free roommate, and who knows? The ghost might even be helpful. Help you clean and stuff. Help you move things around. If you need things rearranged. No, I got rid of one of them. We'll leave that for last. Free to go pro. Tactical power washing. Yeah, what's it called? I mean, you'll probably be able to find a stand. I'll be able to buy a stand for it. Probably be able to get that somewhere. For the Steam Deck. What? Wait, what was that? Why is that a pick up? Wait. Oh my god, this man's got the longest arms in the world. I picked that ladder up from over here, behind those stairs. No, just TP's over there again. Okay. Edgy. This place really is haunted. You want chocolate? Go get some chocolate. Chocolate sounds perfect right now. Get fat on some chocolate while power washing. That's cool. Oh, this is why it's not clean. I gotta clean the back here. It's like, how is it still not clean? Of course, you don't need a 2 terabyte one. Yeah, only Junior needs that. He's crazy. He needs all the space. Railing. What is considered part of the railing? Oh, I guess this too. But don't we have like skills or something in this? I don't think so, but we have like equipment. That's what it is. Anything I was saving up for last time? I think I bought something last time that I couldn't use. Because I didn't have the right thing. I don't think there's skills in this. That's House Flipper. You have skills. I don't have any chocolate right now. Rip. No chocolate. Feels bad, man. Time to go out and stock up on chocolate tomorrow, then. That's perfect. Because it's also Friday tomorrow. Wait, does that actually stay? Oh shit. The witch mark actually stays. The building is truly cursed. Learning the next man. Makes you feel like an old man. Candy to your thing? Yeah, go for it. Get all the snacks. Get all the snacks and sweets you can tomorrow. Stock up. am I supposed to get this? This is a really awkward angle. Oh, there you go. Like that, I guess. Hold on, wait. This long barrel attachment. This can I just a normal thing? There we go. Jesus Christ, man. These railings are so annoying. Power wash. So many angles. So many spots where the dirt can be. This is just the front of the house too. We still haven't seen the back. Monka W. Back's probably gonna be even worse. Need to show boxes something. There you go. There you go, Mr. Junior. I can't do this from here. I gotta do it out here. Oh my god. Jesus. I forgot this side is still dirty as all hell. Oh my god. If you just look at it like this, it's wait. If you just look at it like this, yeah, it's perfect. Look. Oh, don't look at the door. And don't look at the ceiling. Look, it's perfect. It's great. Not a single speck of dirt on it. Perfection. Our job here is done. And then you go out here. Oh, no. Oh, hell man. We're far from done. almost completely clean now. Everything. I sat on the sofa just now, heard a strange sigh-like sound. Bogey. The place is haunted. The fuck? Wait, was that part of the song or was that the game? Like a strange sound. Oh, it is the game. It's the doggo barking in the distance. Oh my dog. Think you can cry right now? Why would you cry right now? Doesn't sound like a good idea, no. No crying while power washing. Veranda. Oh, is it the roof is part of it too? Fuck, why are there so many strange sounds? I mean, I know this place is supposed to be haunted and all, but come on now. Too many strange sounds. Yeah, exactly. What Mr. Junior said. It's okay to be overwhelmed sometimes. Hopefully no one walks through the front door right now. You're gonna get a free shower. was supposed to say, how's the donut clean? Said it's just school. It's just school. Man, yeah, I remember that too back then. Used to be overwhelmed with math. Overwhelmed by math. You have like dirt vision in this game. How do you activate that? Remember there was a way to like highlight the dirt. Pick up. Raise lower tablet. Oh. Sprint, stand, jump, use washer, select extension, equip, use nose on brave mode. Aim mode. Wait, what? Oh. Oh, wait, does it? It's right on the D-pad. Hold on, did it even say that? Show dirt. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I forget you can have it auto-equipped. Like, yeah. It's automatic. I'm not pressing down R2 now. Cool. Cool. Windows all clean. Up here. You can't hide from me, dirt. I'm the ultimate power washer. Find you. Find you no matter what, my dirt vision. How is this wall not clean yet? Oh, it's because of all this up there. Ugh. How are you supposed to get up there? Such a tight spot. Wait. That works. This works. Maybe not. I can't get the right angle. Oh. I can't stand up now. This is horrible. Oh, wait. Hey, we got it, man. That was such a rough spot. You better pay me extra for that. Alright, so the whole front porch is done. What? that another witch sign? That's because it's connected to that. Shit, I fucked it up. There you go, that's one strange looking smiley. Can we just leave it like that? That's what they wanted, right? Ooh, woo. Ay-ya-ya. Weebs won. Weebs always win. Hold on, let me actually picture that. There we go. But here I can use the long barrel attachment. There we go. Oh yeah, I do have this. I don't think you could use it because I don't have the right thing for it. Sweet. Yeah, it's another witch sign. Oh wait, I can actually get rid of it? Yeah. Cleanse this place of its unholy witch curse by the power of power washing. What's that? What's this called again? Chimney. This is a really tall chimney. Can my ladder even reach that high? Terrible the combo. Yeah, no, that is definitely not a good combo. It's not a curse, it's just a drawing. A drawing made by a witch. By an unholy witch. We must cleanse them by the power of this. By leaving our own sign on the building. Exactly. Exactly, Mr. Junior. Ooh, woo. Ay, yeah. Green one's the best one? Oh, were you talking about the nozzle here? The green nozzle? No, witch. Wait, the green witch? What is a green witch? Oh, fuck. We got another railing. Your main PC at home. Oh, so you can like use your main PC on the go with the help of the Steam Deck? The on the Red Dead Redemption 2? Oh, nice. I didn't know you did that, but I'm glad you got your refund quick. That's nice. I'm guessing you get your refund because of all the, all the stuff you talked about last time. You're a gremlin, you gotta go look for food in your house. Alright, good luck. Have fun with the food hunt. Hope you'll find some good food treasures. It makes no sense to have two copies on PC. Yeah, that doesn't really make any sense. Two copies of the same game on PC? Unless you really like the game, then yeah, I don't know why you would have two. Unless it's two different versions. Another witch sign. Let's just clean the other railing. Get it over with, because it's the most annoying thing to clean. I mean, I can see why you would want that. Why you would want Yakuza and GOG, because yeah, exactly. It's DIM free. I can see why you would want that. You found ice cream. Oh shit. What type of ice cream did we find? Jesus Christ. Okay, the most annoying thing to clean is done. Fucking Raven. Did you hear that weird rumbling noise? What? No, I'm listening to synthwave music. False alarm. Jenny put the washer on spin. Oh. The washing machine is haunted. Ah. Whatever shall we do? Anything about that washing machine. You're not annoying. You are not annoying. That is definitely correct. You are not annoying at all. You would be correct with that. Discord. Give me a second. Let me clean this wall. A plushie. A plushie. Oh, now I'm interested. What kind of plushie we got? Please don't come through the door right now. It'd be the worst time to open the door. Unless you want a free shower. No, wow. The witch mark just vanished. What the hell? How is this still so dirty? There we go. What's in Discord? What's an ice cream? Is that Magnum? Magnum ice cream? Oh, you can never go wrong with those. Boy, where's the plushie? Is the plushie the pink thing? Wait, oh, I forgot to clean those. Yeah, I see. I see, I see. The plushie's trying to hide. You found ice cream, so you took it. Hey, that's good. Feast on that ice cream. You've earned it. There's nothing wrong with still having plushies that you've had since you were a kid. Nothing wrong with that. Oh my god. You gotta go prone. Tactical power washing. Oh, I hope the ice cream is good. Hope the ice cream is good. That one's your main one. The main plushie. The number one. In your little plushie collection. Wait, this is... Oh, wait, is it the outside? Oh, yeah, it's definitely the outside. There you go. Oh, I never forgot. I still have the umbrella thing too on. But, oh, and there's a Magnum ice cream. Oh, nice. I have some of those too in the fridge. That my sister bought some time ago. Still haven't had any of them yet. Because we've been too busy. Too busy CBCing it up. Too busy with DBD for ice cream. That was the last one? Oh shit. You sniped the last one. Nice. Well then it must be extra good. Snap the last one for yourself. And nobody likes the dark chocolate one. Are we the only one that likes it? Okay. That just means more dark chocolate ice cream for you. And less for everyone else. Is that a gun? Is that the witch sign? A gun? Ancient looking gun. Oh yeah, that's true. You got your chocolate that you wanted to, so all works out in the end. Win-win. Oh my god. Why did that scare me? The wall just flashing white. Probably because I was completely zoned out power washing. Zoned out power washing while listening to the synth music. Are you gonna buy some more ice cream tomorrow? Sure, you can send me a picture of it. If you get more. You're chewing the stick. Chewing the stick for extra nutritions. Alright, we've almost gone full circle around the house here. That is a suspicious looking witch sign. Wait, did this? Yeah, wait. Oh, probably. Is it connected to the other wall? Yeah, it is. The other bricks. Oh, isn't this also the house that's on the front of the game? Yeah, it's this house right here. There's no witch signs on this one though. Gonna try your best not to focus, they all good. Zone out to the power washing and the synthwave music. Sounds like a good idea. Cause I might do the same. Cause that's what usually happens when we play Power Wash. We just zone out and chill to the music. Average Power Wash sim stream. Damn, that was fast. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. it's just the garage. Yeah, see you in a bit, Amethyst. Do what you gotta do. Time to get rid of this witch sign. It still looks like a smiley. Sideways. How do dirt finder? What? How do dirt finder get really dozy for you when you can spam minute over to grounds? Hell, this is Grime Bandits? I need some help at my poor little play school. I'm the Grime Bandits? Oh, another thing, careful how you go around the volcano. What the fuck are you talking about? What volcano? Where is this volcano? I went down there to enjoy a smoky sunset and then you saw a UFO pop up out the tub and disappear before you can say, look, a UFO, where? Oh. Aliens. All we're missing is Bigfoot now. Trust me, I'm a professional power washer. This is definitely standard procedure. Jumping up and down on this little thing. Power wash the top of the garage. Standard procedure. Don't question it. Sweet. Damn, we're 60% done. Just need the ceiling now. Or the roof, rather. Last 40. Damn, I can't. The window has eyes. What a strange looking face. What? There you go. Try to pick up the ladder. Probably not do it backwards. I could end up falling off the roof. You're here. Welcome back. Welcome back, Miss Amethyst. Your grand return to the chat room. I was stuck right there. That's just weird. Oh, you said hi to the Gov? Nice. Sounds like the Gov has returned to his detective work. How dirty is this? Not that bad still. No, there was enough to clean it. Hi. I'll take it. Wait. Look, that's definitely a smiley right there. How is that a witch sign? That's just a smiley. Oh, yeah. It definitely sounds like you joined the Gov stream. Definitely sounds like you joined the Gov stream. That's a Gov. Gov, the breaker of games. Of games. Why does the sun have to be right there? Where's my sunglasses? Where's my 6 shades? Is the window cleaned? Window frame. Oh, Jesus Christ. So much dirt on the side here. There we go. Now the window's clean. Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah, it's true. I bought these octopus gloves last time, which I'm pretty sure would make it expensive. They're almost like the most expensive gloves. We almost went bankrupt because of that. Is it? Yeah, I keep getting stuck on the ladder. Ooh. Don't worry. Standard issue power washing procedure. Just jumping around the rooftop instead of actually using the ladder. Standard issue power washing procedure. Exactly, I'd say that sounds pretty okay. That sounds pretty okay. The amethyst. Good. Hold on, how do I want to do this? This properly. There we go. No need for long barrel. You have a question. Alright, what's up? What's your question? Is Leo your real name? No, it's fake. It's just a giant Jabast. It's just a giant Jabast to mess with people, to throw people off, so that people may never know my real name. Is it really? Yeah, no, it's not my real name. No, it's just a giant Jabast to throw people off. So they may never be able to track me down. But that's all good. It's not a dumb question. It's just it's a pretty funny question that, believe it or not, that I have been asked multiple times. I mean, technically, yes and no. My real full first name is Leonardo, like the Ninja Turtle. That is my real first name. Then, you know, the short version of that is Leo. And here we are. Leonardo. Exactly. You got it. Both of you got it. That is my real first name. Yeah, actually, this is a bit too long as a username right there, Mr. Junior. A bit too long for a username. Leonardo XDRB. Jesus Christ, man. A bit lengthy, and plus, I don't know, that looks so strange. That doesn't look right. Looks too long. It's a sick name. It is a sick name, and I like it too. Because I'm named after a Ninja Turtle. And a famous painter. And an actor. Famous actor. But I prefer to say that I'm named after a Ninja Turtle. More fun that way. Which I believe that was the reason. My mom named me Leonardo because of the actor. Not because of the Ninja Turtle, unfortunately. But still. Exactly. After Leonardo DiCaprio. who I'm named after. That's who my mom named me after. But I choose. Did I choose my last or first name? But did I choose it personally? No. No. I did not. Like Robbie or Bobby. What the hell, man? The man is dissing his own name. Robert's a cool name. Robert is a cool name. My grandpa's name was Robert. A cool name. Do you want to know first or last name? Or your first or last name? Well, let's go with first. First name. Last name is a bit too fancy, even for me. I need to get the ladder again. Oh, wait. Oh, shit. Can I even run with this? I can't. We'll make this work. It was just simple. There's nothing wrong with that. Good old classic symbol name. Nothing wrong with that. I never go wrong with the classics. Oh, right, I was gonna go over here. Start with a T. A T. First name with T that comes to your mind is Timmy. Timmy? Wait. The long brow attachment on again, then I think I'll get rid of it, yeah. TA? What the hell is the name of TA? A. Taylor. Oh! Right. I forgot that's a name. I forgot that's a name. Cause I don't know a single soul named that. Well, I guess I do now. I guess I've known someone called that the whole time. Just Mr. Junior. Keeping that a secret. Yeah, it's all good. That's all good. Probably a good idea, cause yeah. Don't want to, you know, get too much information on. I mean, Taylor's a cool name too, yeah. Taylor's a cool name. I just don't, yeah, I don't know many names that. Because it's more of an American name. Not really a lot of people name that here in Denmark. But also, actually, a fun little fact. Instead of Leonardo, which you know is my first full name, yeah. I was almost called Pablo instead. Fucking Pablo. Man, I don't know. Nothing against the name, but I don't know. That would have just been so strange, I feel like. Maybe just... would have been strange, I feel like, if I was called Pablo, because exactly because of that, everyone would be out here calling me Pablo Escobar. Like, come on, man. Jesus. Man, well, that's funny. That's funny to think about that, though. That, yeah, I was almost called Pablo. Jesus Christ, man. Pablo XDRB. Pablo XDRB. Telling Coke on Twitch TV. Hey, that kind of rhymes, doesn't it? Pab XDRB. I don't know, that doesn't have the same ring to it, does it? Pab XDRB. What the hell, man? Pab XDRB. No, that definitely doesn't have the same ring to it at all. We were almost called Valentine, but didn't. Yo, Valentine's a sick name. Cool name. Oh, it goes back generations. Well, yeah, like back generations in your family. Yeah, that's nice. Then the name has a lot of meaning in your family. I have to check somewhere. You got it, Amethyst. Yeah, because I don't really know that many French names, if any. Share the same middle name. I see. That's like a, yeah, I'm guessing a family tradition or something. Why do I keep getting stuck on things? I kind of wish I had a middle name, but I don't. I do not, and I do not have a middle name. Time to add Pablo as my middle name. Jesus. Rip middle name, yeah. I thought that was so strange in school too, because everyone in my class had like middle names. I was like the only one without it. At least your middle name is not Norris. What? Wait, no, that's a sick middle name too. Okay, man, is Chuck Norris over here? How about you? Also don't have a middle name, Amethyst? Glad to know I'm not the only one. Sorry, what is this? Don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but I've looked into the creepy symbols you found on the side of that house you're working on. Turns out they're just building diagrams. Telling the plumber where to put the gap for the overfill pipe. Oh. They're not even witch signs. Well, thanks, Hopper. Good job, not cursed. Oh, that was your grandpa's middle name, Norris. Yo, that was a sick middle name. Norris? Hey, the roof is fully cleaned. Alright, sure. If you want to, go ahead, yeah. Miss Amethyst. And yeah, I'll check it here in a second. Because I think I know where you might have sent it. On a certain Discord app. I can say it out loud. Well, if it's a French last name, I probably can't. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'd mess it up. I don't even know if I'm gonna try. The gov called you by it? The fancy governor? Of course the fancy gov calls you by your last name. He is a fancy gov after all. Oh shit. That front of this place is still mega dirty. Ladder. I need. Oh, I'm stuck again. Oh, it's in English. Oh, okay. Thought it would be like a French last name, so yeah, that way I wouldn't be able to pronounce it. But if it's English, then I might have a. Then I might be able to pronounce it properly. Wait. Put the long barrel attachment on again. Oh, it's the same in French. Oh. I see, I see. Oh, probably the other side of the window frame, right? Oh my god. Yep. Oh, the gutter too, right? Suck. Yep. I'll only know your name, but not your face. Oh, I can't place it yet. I can't get the right angle on this. Proning on the side of the roof. Seems safe, man. Okay. That's all clean. Let's see. E. You know, definitely that first name. I've never seen that before. Never heard that name before. But yeah, your last name, that's pretty easy to pronounce. Stuck again. Yep, the power washer is stuck. Is this all we need? I think it's just, yeah, this. And then the the ooh woo wall. And then we're done. God, this fucking roof is so dirty. Jesus Christ. I don't think I need the long barrel here. You know, we're starting to clean the inside. I am waterboarding the little fire pit. We're filling the house with water. Overflowing the building. Enough waterboarding the chimney. Let's actually continue cleaning. Oh, power washing. Yeah, that's nice. Your last name's pretty easy to pronounce. Oh. Pick up equipment. Sweet. Casually picks up the ladder for the fucking entire house. Just, you know, just power washing skills. Comes with the job. Kill? Excuse me. Did the song just say kill? I'm power washing the building. I'm not murdering anyone. We did that for an entire month. Time to take a break from all the murder. Murder. Officer, there's been a murderer. Murder. There's been a murderer, officer. Steam servers are down. Oh my god. What a terrible time for them to go down. While you're messing around with your Steam Deck. How would pronounce your last name? Would you want me to try and pronounce it? Want me to try to pronounce it? Yes. You got it. Merlin. Is that how you pronounce it's pronounced? Bishop Michael. Bishop Michael in front of the victim in his house. Michael. Man, I really want to rewatch the Halloween movie again.
You fooled him, haven't you, Mike?
Yep, he sure has. Like he always does. You like how I pronounced it? Because I got it right? It's pretty close. Oh. Let's clean the gut up before we do the rest of the roof. No, it was close. Hey, that's at least good to know. I see. You prefer the English version? All good, all good. Why do I keep getting stuck on that? Oh my god. Wait, oh my god, this chimney's still dirty. Show me the dirt. Show me the dirt, Jerry. Thank you. That's 4%. It's probably the ooh woo wall. Ooh woo. Oh, this maybe. Am I prone? I am prone. Yeah, there's that. But is that the final thing? I can't reach. Come to me, ladder. Teleport you to me with the power of my brain. We cool? Alright, let's go. Let's go. Get rid of the Uwu weapons and fall. Everyone say your goodbyes. Say your goodbyes to the Uwu. Because of tiredness. It's like it's time to get some sleep. Time to get some rest. It's also getting late. There's 12 of those wooden trims that I still gotta do? Excuse me? Excuse me? Wooden trims times 12. What? What now? Where are these wooden trims? What are you saying to me right now? They have to be on the roof, right? You want to keep watching and listen? In that case, you can always... Here we go. Always fall asleep to the stream. To this cozy power washing. Oh, is it? Oh my god! It's because it's down here too. Thought you could hide from me, dirt, huh? No, I don't think so. Not on my watch. I can't wait to see the replay of this. Us proning around here in the end. Do a few sprays for the preview. Oh, not the preview, the GIF that it plays after this, the video that it plays. Cozy voice of Leonardo, exactly. That's what you can fall asleep to. With some nice power washing and synth wave music in the back. You got it. You got it, Amethyst. Wait, is it? No, not that. Just 3 more. Hey, there we go. Sweet. Now we just need you out of the pathway. More done. Play with the football a little though. No. I want you on the pathway. No, don't get stuck in the corner. Wait, I'm on the fence. What the fuck? We did it! Clap. Witch house successfully cleansed the filth and its witch magics by the power of power washing. Look at us go. Oh wait, it cut the part of me. Me just parading randomly in the front. Man, this is a good paying job. Did that pay me 1,000? They paid me like $1,000, I think. Sweet. House looks amazing. Almost normal. You know what's strange though? As you were finishing, there was this screech from the attic. So I opened the latch and something whooshed past my face, followed by a groupy gray feather floating mysteriously down. I think it was Esther's soul leaving. Finally at peace. Finally at peace that the building is finally clean. But it paid $650? Nice. Seen the dirt bike. Oh, wait, what? Oh my god, that's a big job. Clean the skate park, clean the shoe house, and clean the golf cart. What do we want to, how long did that take? It took like 2 hours to clean. Let's do the golf cart. Need to clean my sorry golf cart. You might have heard about my poor cat Yules has gone missing. Well, frantic with worry. What with the ceremony just around the corner, so I saw him on the golf course, flocking on the lily pads on the lake by the 13th. Half free, but I always get a birdie. By the time I realized that it was just a turn his car up, it was too late. I slammed on the brakes and went tumbling down the slope head over tail. Alright, dogs have given me all the clear. Said they'd never see anyone. Said they'd never seen anyone recover from such a minor in so little time. But the cat needs a hose down. There were, yeah. It's the mayor. Mayor Jeff Jefferson XIII. Golf cart cleaning time. Then own garage. Yeah, I was gonna ask how did this happen, but it sounds like he fell down a hill or something. he says the name the same way. I see. I see, I see. Also, welcome back. Welcome back, Miss Amethyst. We need 10 more stars to get that. Oh, this is the thing that I bought. Wait, no, I have this. Wait, fuck. Wait, what is mine called? Urban. Oh. Yeah, I bought this, but it's for the one that I don't have. I did buy another. I guess that might have been for the first one. I bought the spinning nozzle. How does mine look now? Oh, it's just black. And it's the urban one that I have. I mean, we got money and this is only 50, so I might as well buy this. I bought $200 gloves last time. Just give me the pink outfit. Fashionista. Let me quickly see something here. Yeah, it is for the first one that I bought the spinning nozzle. Okay. Which I mean, we could use for this. Time to clean the mayor's golf cart. Make it look brand new. Golf cart. What a sick brand. Just a golf cart. Out the roof in here. Damn, we're almost done already. It's a quick job. It's also just a golf cart, I guess. Nothing too crazy, eh? Chassis. No, that's that. Bumper steering column. Wait, what bumper though? Front bumper? Front bumper. Now this is the game that'll define this decade of gaming. Hell yeah. You know what, Langrid? Power Wash Simulator. talk of the town. Best kept god in 1996. The talk of the town, Power Wash Sim. Best game there is out in the market. Elden Ring, what a tried garbage. It's all about that Power Wash Simulator, exactly. Because I bet Elden Ring doesn't give you a power washing tool like this. And a gnome as well. Bet they don't give you that. Only in Power Wash Sim. Only doable in Power Wash Sim. Can you put a gnome inside a golf cart? And watch a replay of you cleaning the golf cart afterwards. Looking at the golf cart now, it's almost like the whole thing never happened. You're genius. Terrifying. What replied? Man, I really love this, man. This is the greatest feature of this game. That you can just watch yourself clean the... watch a replay you cleaning the thing afterwards. Fantastic. I love that. The way he's crouching and looking at it. Nice. Another job done. I don't want to do this yet. Let's go clean the shoe house. Thank you so much for helping. Ain't you a sugar? It's nice as it is having a play school in the forest. It does leave it open to elements, and the poor thing's now so mucky. It's time to rub off on the children. In the old days, we would fill a few buckets and the children would do it themselves, top to bottom. Such fun, and most of them came to no harm. Nowadays, they're not even allowed to on the roof. They don't mind down the guttering. But the parents get all angsty. If you could please come and give it a good wash, that'd be much wonderful. It is. And this, you thought Nicolas Cage and DBD was the greatest DLC collab of the year? Now look at this here. They have a SpongeBob DLC. You can clean SpongeBob's house. Wait, there's a trailer? Pause the music.
Well, seems like it's a slow news day here in Bikini Bottom. Oh my goodness! Breaking news! It seems the town has suddenly and inexplicably become covered in a thick layer of dirt and muck.
But you're even a fish in this one? I guess that makes sense. You can clean the Bikini Bottom. SpongeBob's house. And his car.
Powerful stuff there, folks. Hey, Tony, any idea where I parked my car?
I'm a fish because all the other Power Washers drowned. They all drowned. Trying to clean SpongeBob's house. Yeah, they have added a few new ones. Like, yeah, this one came out very recently, actually. SpongeBob pack. And then there's also 2 free ones. The Tomb Raider mansion. Rough Manor. And then there's Final Fantasy as well. Wait. This is just a trailer for the game. This is not Final Fantasy. Bet you clean the stuff from Final Fantasy VII. Wow, this one only has 1 picture. Yeah, they're definitely still adding more stuff to this, and I believe the next DLC that they're coming out with is a Warhammer DLC. Warhammer 40,000. Oh yeah, they're definitely still adding stuff to this. Monka W indeed. I really wonder how that's gonna be. You have to clean up the corpses. Monka W, man, this. All of a sudden, this game became a Peggy 18. All of a sudden, it became M-rated. I'm not too sure. Maybe. I don't think they showed any stuff from it. From the other Warhammer DLC that they were gonna add. They just showed the logo and that it's happening. So who knows? Maybe. You might actually have to power wash blood up and clean the corpses. But yeah, exactly. This game is actually really nice. It's such a chill and nice, cozy game. All it's missing is music. Just like that other game we played. What was that? What was the other game we played recently? That was also really nice, but was missing music. Oh, it was that Danger Zone game that didn't have music. But this game's really nice. It's just a shame it doesn't have music. Like, this is me playing music. This is what it's like without music. Just ambience. And the sound of your power washer. Really? Oh, you always have your own music on in every game? Yeah, that's definitely what you want to do for this game too, because yeah, this is what it sounds like without music. It's just doesn't feel right, man. It just feels awkward. Feels weird. I guess that's a good thing it doesn't have music, because then yeah, you can just play your own music. Turn that back on. But this is honestly a really nice game. Which is also why we keep coming back to it. Because it's great, and I do actually would like to finish it since, believe it or not, there is a story. So yeah, I would like to finish it. And then once we finish it, we could always do the DLCs. SpongeBob DLC. And yeah, the 2 free ones. This is a fucking beautiful. This is a fucking fantastic game. Fantastic, chill, cozy game. The perfect game to play after a month straight of DBD. Water the plants. Window box. What's the name of this one? Clash just power washed your house a little while ago. Oh, sweet. And then you don't even have to call a power washer to complete it. Mother Nature took care of it. Nice. Yeah, same here. Same here for the past few days, actually. It's just been raining like crazy. Which, now that you say that, hold on, that actually makes me think. Does it never rain here? Does it never rain in this town? Like, how does this happen? Surely some good rain would take care of this, right? Does it never rain here? Yeah, you bringing that up made me question, like, wait, hold on a second. Does it never rain here? Hold on. Honestly, yeah, that's the perfect place to set up a power wash business. A place where it never rains. Where people constantly need their houses clean. Honestly, yeah, that's a 5-head business move. Do your research, find out where it rains the least, where like it never rains, and then yeah, bam, there you go. Set up your power wash business there. Easy. Easy money bags. And water might be more expensive. You're always in drought. Oh, wait, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. Water might be more expensive in a place like that where it always rains. Oh, where it never rains. Where it rarely rains. Oof. Yeah, then your water expenses might skyrocket a bit. Gonna have to try and use as little water as possible in every job to not go bankrupt. Nobody wants to pay for a power washer, feels bad. It's so expensive. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to set up business here. How is this not clean? There we go. Don't worry about it. Standard issue power washing procedure. Just jumping in place, trying to reach the dirt. Page point. Are we pointing at the dirt? The dirt that I'm missing. I think we have dirt vision. Did I clean the other window? No. There we go. got a stinky butt. What? Excuse me? Huh? That was the message. There was no follow-up to that. You're the one that hired me, excuse me? That was rather rude of you. Saying I have a stinky butt. Ours is not clean. Oh, that's why. Hey, the shoe is almost clean. At least if you just look at it like this. You're gonna stay till you fall asleep because you can. You got it. Roger that, Amethyst. Good night. In that case. Did you end up falling asleep to the power washing? The cozy power washing. Exactly. I sleep. I mean, if I was watching this, if I was a viewer right now, I'd probably fall asleep and no problem, because man, this is so chill and cozy to watch and listen to. Some chill synth music while power washing a giant shoe. It doesn't get more relaxing than that. Exactly, with Scooby being the DJ in the back. This is perfect. I want a yogurt top. What are you saying to me? Huh? Yeah, with Scooby being the DJ in the back, it's perfect. Him controlling the synth. Johnny bit me. What is going on in this conversation on the right? I ate his yogurt. Wait, what? feels weird, man. What is, I almost missed that because I was too hyper focused on the power washing. I mean, they we just live in a shoe. Who knows? Yeah, you got a point. You got a point in that language. Who knows what they're talking about? They're crazy enough to live in this giant shoe. Out in the woods. Like there's some sort of hobbit. So what are those Danish stories? Stories original. There's just another origin. This is where those forest elves live. The forest elves that steal your mail.
Holy shit!
Holy shit, he's power washing.
Holy shit!
Fuck, he missed some dirt. Chip bastard. But there's no bingo. As far as I know, there's no power washing bingo. Thought you had bingo. What the? There's no bingo, is there? There shouldn't be. Not more weird to be a sponge who lives in a pineapple under the sea. Whoa. I see how it is. Casually calling out SpongeBob like that. Casually calling Mr. SpongeBob out. I wonder how he's gonna respond to that. Your card is still there. Oh. Well, then I forgot to end it again. Oh. Forgetful me. Who's the other Steam Deck gentleman? That's only you and Mr. Junior. I shall play some CBC. If the brain goes to the guy, you might as well play some CBC, Leo. I'm afraid not. As much as I want to, no. Saving CBC for when Mr. Cage is up. Oh, this is still dirty as all hell. There we go. Sorry, this is just huge. All good, all good. Yeah, you seem very excited about having cracked the code. So don't worry, this is totally normal. Me just parkouring up to the flower pot to power wash instead of using a ladder. Very normal power washing procedure. Don't question it. Dante got assassinated. There you go, you can push your link again now. Now you won't get assassinated by Nightbot. I'm gonna question it. Don't question it. Don't question my methods. This is standard power washing procedure. Just going prone on the flower pot in front of the window at this height. It's very normal to clean it. You see everyone do this in the business. It's fine. Trust me, this is normal. This is gonna be interesting to see in the replay. No, I can't get that from here. No, we shall question your methods. No. Don't do it. It's fine. This is very normal. This is totally how it's supposed to be done. Safety-wise and everything. Exactly. A Ninja Turtle shall never be questioned. Don't question the Ninja Turtle. Long barrel. Doc, we found a mucky old thing in our garage. Let us know when you are free to come over and give it a wash. What did you find? A broom? I'm going poop. What are you saying to me? Can I block this guy's number? The guy that hired me to do this job, can I block his number? He's sending me strange messages. Is that a banana? No. I done it. Stop! Stop messaging me. Delete this number. I didn't sign up for this. Is this what Twitter is like now? Pretty much, yeah. All you're missing is just a blue check mark next to it, then yeah. Twitter experience right there. A blue paid check mark. We need answers, Mr. Myers. Alright, Mr. Leo. You're not getting any answers. No. I'll never tell you my power washing secrets. Mr. Gas. Hydrate. Michelle. Give me a second, then I'll hydrate up for you. Once I've hydrated this shoe, I shall hydrate myself. So hard to see because the sun is so bright on this yellow surface. You tone it in so you sleep. Okay. All good. Get some good sleep. A good night's sleep. Now all of these clean? Aisle that. Yeah, okay. I'll hydrate up now. I'll hydrate up now for you. There we go. Window. Oh, it's a... yeah, this... Whee. Now we just need the top mostly. Wow. Apparently there's a little bit of dirt here somewhere. Let's actually use the scaffolding here. I'm so sorry about all that. Charlie found my phone. Oh, sure. Sure, buddy. As if that wasn't you. I don't buy it. Can I? Oh, wait, can I jump this to get on the shoe? Hey. Now what? Can I land on this? I could just do it like that. Hey, smooth. Ah! Don't worry. All under control. Oh. Oh. Jesus. Man, I didn't realize we're already 93% done. Nice. I cleaned something. I'm sure this is the proper way to do this. This is the intended way, right? Jumping in the flower pot. can't get that dirt right there. How do the other side? Oh, there we go. So that cleaned up. Sweet. But how did you do the? I like this. Nice. Is that this whole thing done? Looks like it. It's just the rest of the roof. %99 done. What in the world are we missing? Still this here. Uh, 99% done. What else are we missing? It's probably something small. Oh, this right there. Nice. That's probably one of that. Yeah, with the wooden trims that I'm missing somewhere. Oh, window frame. There's still more. Wait, I saw something though. This right here. Food wall. Oh. Still more. There's a more than 3. Because it always pops up with the last 3 that you need. Really? The door frame? Oh, right there. Oh, and the window here too? still the door frame. There we go. Boot wall window frame. And a wooden trim somewhere. Oh my god, that could be anywhere. Oh, wait. Found the wooden trim. Window frame somewhere. And a boot wall. What this? Trying to spot the yellow dirt on the yellow wall. Oh, is it because it connects with this? No. Oh my god, where is this tiny dirt hiding? Yeah, apparently. Window frame somewhere. Where's this last window frame? Probably up there. Yeah, it is. I was right. Hey, we did it. Hello, Firestone puts the Groot into grotto. Haha, could you come and give it a spring cleaning, please? H. Hicks and Yeager. Another job done. That's fully cleaned the shoe. Water the plants. I'm out of here. Give me that sick replay. Show me laying on those flowers. Oh wait, the scaffolding is there. It just looks like I'm floating. You are a wonder. The play school looks beautiful. Looks beautiful. Children is so calm now. I get the birds of the forest again. The wind rustling through the leaves. Even my own heartbeat. I hope that's normal. You can hear your own heartbeat. Be a bit concerning, but whatever. He's just standing in the air. Sweet, yeah, another job well done. Okay, hold on, give me a second. There we go. Clean the vintage car. Clean the forest cottage. Another house in the forest, eh? Oh wait, I can buy that thing now. I can buy the heavy duty. Oh no. Like I can buy it, but I don't have the money. I'm high enough level to get it now though. What is this? Clean the Maz Road, clean the Gnome Fountain, clean the mini golf course, clean the locomotive. Oh. See. Probably do another job. Doing another job, trying to be this one. The remote. I see the Old Republic dream is real. Hog. You play Knights of the Old Republic on the go. Take it with you anywhere. Hi, gnomes. Hi. I think that's enough power washing for now. Enough cozy power washing for now. We did 3 jobs. 3 jobs in 3 hours? Pretty good. That's enough power washing for now.